So I think this is a very important topic. My name is Wolf von Laer, and I'm the CEO of Students for Liberty. And just recently, we received a $1.5 million grant to just focus on free market environmentalism. And I think it is also of pivotal importance to focus on this, especially because young people really, really care about this. If you look at that, if Gen Z, 70% of them say that they're really anxious about climate change in particular. Boomers, only 40%. So there's a huge gap there. But even more interesting, 31% of every Gen Z state in surveys that they are engaged in climate activism. So they're going out there and doing things. That's a huge number. Like every third Gen Zs that we are always complaining about how lazy they are, right? They're going out there and fighting for these ideas we're talking about right now. So this is a huge opportunity right now, because often the arguments that WAD and like other organizations here pushing forward are not being listened to or not seen at all. We see it mostly like more from a big government perspective. So free market environmentalism might be a misnomer, as David said, so we'll think about that. But I think it's important to push it out there so that there's an alternative to like the more like government heavy-handed approach. And I think how we could add to these efforts, while we don't write policy papers, we are not a think tank, but we have a huge international network. We are active in 113 countries where we are volunteers and also alumni. And they are starting organizations often, 23 of which are now part of the Atlas network, right? And there will be more and more organizations that focus on this. And so we can bring some of these people to the table. Like we have a vice minister in Lithuania right now that is an alumna. And we have think tank leaders, business people, journalists and entrepreneurs. And we would love to bring them to some of these expert meeting groups that you were talking about, Rod, or like some sort of summits, so that the people can actually do something about these ideas we're talking about, can implement that on an international level. And I applaud all the organizations that have paved the way, and we would love to give our people to that effort. And yeah, if there's anything that we can do, let us know. So for instance, in Africa, one of the biggest networks of youth journalists is run by Students for Liberty. It's called africaliberty.org. And these people are now like in really influential positions in the media. And they could talk about these things and talk about like good approaches that you're talking about, supply side, which we are like. So just wanted to share that. Thanks so much for the opportunity. And if anybody wants to talk, I'm here. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Wolf. I really appreciate, in fact, could I get a round of applause for Students for Liberty stepping into this space, and in such an impressive way, because, it is great to have, part of the free market education of young people be free market education about climate and the environment, and what are the free market solutions, which are being really missing. But in addition, I wanted to comment on, you mentioned the person who was a SFL graduate in the Lithuanian government. That kind of connection with free market think tanks that have a lot of influence with governments can be huge in promoting the adoption of something like a free acts, because if there's a free market environmental agreement, if we can get a few governments buying in and raising their hand and saying, yeah, that's something we want to be a part of, it puts pressure on the rest of the acts nations to say, okay, well, yeah, let's go with it. So so that can be extremely helpful. Is there any? Does the panel, our co-chairs here, David and Magnus from Iceland, Magat Wade and Lorenzo Montanari, do any of you want to comment on anything with respect to what Wolf has said?
Definitely, the idea is to start doing kind of an innovation alliance network, kind of a coalition meeting that we need to build the format. We start discussing today, but Student for Liberty is a great example, in which way you build you reframe the youth movement on the free market all over the world. So we definitely should work with you together, starting from the 6 countries we're discussing today. Norway, Iceland, New Zealand, Costa Rica. From them, the goal is to reshape the narrative. Because we also think about in which way we need to rethink the green transition in the face of the Ukrainian war. Because we need to think about a new geoeconomic, politics paradigm, how to answer the question in which way we acquire new raw materials, rare earth, in which way we should avoid new dependency from China and Russia again. So this is a very tough challenge, but if we are able to develop with the coalition meeting that we do every month, we can develop a new one around innovation, we can definitely use the experience of all of us, to face what should be the new narrative of free market environmentalism.